Hey everyone, welcome back to Play Casket with your co-hosts, Paraka the Goblin and
Ghost, your co-host.
And today we're going to just open that wonderful chest of Zelda. Dun 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 dun! And we're just going to have a little retrospective of what we've experienced with Zelda. And basically talk about what we had, what we like, what we would love to see, and basically everything in between. Basically, we're going to just go ahead and start off with our overall opinion of Zelda. What do you think your overall opinion of Zelda is?
I don't know. It's a really good franchise. I think it's kind of funny how it's really popular in the West, and like Mario's really popular over there.
Yeah.
But we have like number one is Zelda here, and then Mario is number one over there. But number two is Mario, or number two here is Mario, and number two over there is Zelda.
Yeah, I think that part of that is because I think we like a lot of the whole fantasy-based experiences, adventures, and stuff like that, fighting the unending evil. Whereas Mario feels like little isolated versions of extended episodes of a Saturday morning cartoon. Mm-hmm. Always throwing off Bowser, like, I will get you next time, that type of thing. And then next Saturday, do it again. So I feel like that's what it is that there's something more epic. Mm-hmm. The way we see it is more epic in Zelda's storytelling in comparison to Mario's. And I think that's a main point. Mm-hmm. And it's very reasonable because a lot of like epic stories and movies and stuff like that, Lord of the Rings and stuff, huge blowouts for those. But then when you talk about stuff like just like your traditional Hollywood movie, like of like action heroes and stuff, they don't make as much money. Mm-hmm. Epics, big sellers, stuff like that. All the older Marvel movies didn't compare to the epic that the Avengers Connecting Universe was. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that.
Although I think one thing I do kind of miss about like the old Zeldas compared to our modern ones, mm-hmm. The old ones are hard as shit. I'll elaborate that in a little bit, but I kind of miss the old ones though.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and start off with that. What about your first Zelda? What was your very first Zelda here?
Oracle Seasons? Yeah. Awesome. On the Game Boy Color. One of my friends brought it over, and we were all just like playing it, and it was so cool. I don't know. We were all just like huddled around one tiny little screen. Everybody's like watching us play. Yeah, that was really fun. And I was kind of hooked. Also remember Din really well. Yeah, she was a good waifu. Which I want to see her come to. I want to see her come to the Switch or like a modern console if they remade everything in like full 3D. Oh my god! And then I could just look at Din in full 3D. Yeah, maybe I should rig her in Blender. Yeah,
do it. It ain't gonna stop you.
Yeah, but what I really miss about the old Zeldas is getting stuck is also kind of a part of like figuring things out, because sometimes when you get a new item, you're like, shit, what do I do next? So you go around and you test it on everything. Yeah, because the new Zeldas, you don't get lost as often, and you don't experiment like that anymore, which I kind of miss, because it's really cool just finding so many cool secrets in Oracle Season when like you get a shovel and you just dig everywhere until you find the next thing, or you get the bracelets and you pick and throw things and until
you discover something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I miss that.
Well, what parts of Oracle Seasons did you like in general, like specifically?
Just experimenting.
Just experimenting,
yeah. And then figuring out all the little secrets. And okay. Din was like my favorite part. No.
Well, I did not play the Oracle series until much later. I actually played it on a emulator on, I think, the Wii U. Mm-hmm. Could be one of those type of things. But my very first Zelda was also portable, but much older. When I was a kid, like even though I had a lot of the older systems, and I could have gotten Zelda and stuff, and I do believe we had Zelda 2 on one of our systems. I just never really played it. I just was on vacation, and one of these kids originally was stuck in Kirby and asked me to help him out. And because of that, he showed me all of his other games, and one of these other ones he wanted me to try out was Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Now, at first I didn't really know what Zelda was, but I did like those type of games that he showed me. There was a couple that were very similar to that I played on my own Game Boy. But I did try it out, right? It was my first one, and I actually I like the fact that it was very compact, because I think that's where a lot of what you think has a lot of experimenting, because you're not running over this whole vast world just testing rocks on everything. You know what I mean? Like you're not doing that. But there's other reasons why there's 3D ones do other things that the small ones just don't do anymore.
Yeah.
But I did like the top-down ones because there's a structure in it that 3D Zeldas don't really do. Now I'm not saying the 3D Zeldas are bad. I actually like a lot of the 3D Zeldas. But I will have my grief about Breath of the Wild here in a minute. But for the most part, I like the top-down ones because there was some kind of sense of style and like a unique world about it that was very interesting. Granted, there was a lot of weird like Mario-related characters and stuff like that in Link's Awakening, and namely because for the most part you find out it was because it was entirely a dream in general.
Yeah.
So none of the stuff you did was real.
Yeah.
When I did the remake, they did fix a lot of problems that, of course, when you only have 2 buttons, can solve, right?
Yeah.
So it really changed how they experiment. But I
forgot about that too.
I think remakes or remasters and remakes can like cohesively live together, basically. Like, I do think original games should still be preserved in a way that they're still originally intended. You know, don't go, well, since we have extra buttons, the Game Boy version of Link's Awakening can now be using. No, I want you to be able to just use those 2 buttons. You know?
Okay.
So, like, as much as the remake did improve it.
I'll stick to my 3DS Ocarina of Time. Thank you.
No. But that's what I liked.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I like the small exploratory, but then, like, you do have to, like, figure things out. And in fact, I was playing, when you said that, I was actually playing the remake, and I did get lost after getting the fish key, the angler key. I'm like, wait, where am I supposed to go now? Completely forgot how obvious where you had to go. And I actually feel like I actually solved that for the kid way back in the day, because I had to like kind of pause there and like feel like this feels familiar. You know, like it felt really weird. And I feel like that was probably what happened, is I helped that kid solve that same issue I now currently had, because I am now old with old man brain. But yeah, that was my very first Zelda. And when that happened, I kind of opened my eyes to more. But it was shortly after that is when the 64 came out, and I started moving forward with a lot of those games. Till I got older and started revisiting the older games.
Which also reminds me about I think I came across Link in Smash Brothers first, and then we got Oracle Seasons, and then 64. One of my friends also had a 64 cartridge, and I'm like, all right, what's the hubbub? Because nobody would shut up about this game. We threw it on, and like everybody fell in love with that game.
Like, I liked the game. Like, I thought it was really cool. Like, for me, like I was like, okay, this game's pretty badass. Because for the time, it was right. For me, I did not think of it as the best game ever. Like, I hated that because Majora Mask improved a lot of the approach that Ocarina did, and then Twilight Princess went even further. Not by much, but because it was just a small improvement, people still go, ugh, it didn't have the same impact.
Yeah, because when it leaped from
2D to 3D,
it blew everybody's mind. If Ocarina of Time wasn't there, and we just jumped straight to like
Majora's Mask or Twilight Princess,
that would blow.
It would have been the same type of deal. And I think because they took the formula and changed so differently in Breath of the Wild, that's why people are doing the same thing now with Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of grievances with Breath of the Wild, actually, and I will talk about that in a little bit because, like I said, but my favorite Zelda was actually going back after playing, the original stuff. Like, a lot of my favorite games happen to end up being on the Super Nintendo, and it's not like a bias thing. Like, I just happen to go back and I'm like, this game feels the best. And Link to the Past is one of those examples. Final Fantasy 3, which is technically 6, is also another one of those. My favorite Final Fantasy series.
Okay.
It just happens to fall to that point, and I liked that game the most.
Okay.
Link to the Past was one of those. It had everything that basically Link's Awakening had that I fell in love with. Minus it had a dedicated sword input button, and I could just and the way the remake is too, right? And it made great strides in making everything really. It felt really expansive for its time. You know, by the time I already played the other stuff, obviously it felt smaller. Because when you're already roaming around the whole overworld of Ocarina of Time, you're like, wow, this thing's huge.
Yeah.
You know? It feels smaller, but when you look back at it, and I'm like, wow, they did all of this, and I did not even play it? This is horseshit. By the way, same experience with Secret of Evermore. I will talk about that another time. I have a lot of little notes.
We should do Zelda clones, too. Good Zelda clones we should talk about?
We should probably talk about some of those.
Okay. I gotta write that down.
We'll write that down. We'll do some Zelda-like stuff because there's a plethora. There's that rabbit hole goes down deep. But it did everything I liked of Link's Awakening, but a shit ton better. And the colors were vivid, and I think that was the way I think Zelda should look stylistically going forward. That's how I thought it was, right? And so when they started going to 3D and they're like, this is how it's always going to be, I'm like, man, what's going to happen to the top-down now that we're not going to have to worry about top-down anymore? And I feel like that's where they're using Toon Link now. And I feel like that's reasonable.
Yeah.
You know, Spirit Tracks and stuff. Not my favorite stuff, but I could still, if somebody makes another Toon Link game that's a top-down, I'll probably give it another go.
I almost forgot about Wind Waker. I still got to beat that.
Hey, maybe if we wait a little bit, Nintendo might port it over because it's probably the last Wii U game they need to make money off of.
But I would say my favorite one besides 64 and Breath of the Wild is Twilight Princess. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and it wasn't as bad as everybody expected it to be. Everybody just tore it to pieces because it had such big boots to fill.
Yeah, I feel like they improved minorly across the board of what Ocarina of Time offered. I am really weirded out how many people really love Twilight Princess, fanatically.
Everybody loves Midna.
What the hell? I'm like, it's not that great of a game. It's a great game, but it's not. It's not better that good, you know. I think the story, I kind of liked the story because it was going to be a not Ganon. I was like, in recent times at the time, everything was Ganon related. I'm like, more Ganon. And then I was like, oh, Zant, okay, he might get a new fucking enemy to deal with. And I was all down with that, right? And then plot twist, I'm taking over this, I am Ganon. I'm like, I hate that. He's even the enemy when he's not. It's just the worst feeling. And then Skyward Sword is it's the original, before Ganon. He's like, I am pre-primal Ganon. I'm like, I hate this. I hate all of this. Seriously, Nintendo, dude, Ganon doesn't need to be in every single one. You can literally have somebody basically take his power for one of them, and because he can't handle it is why he fails. Think of it. If theoretically, if let's say Ganon was technically defeated or something, right? And they made a game with say Zant, right? And he took the power of Ganon. But because Ganon's power was so, he was more manipulative, so he could easily have overtaken, but because he was not familiar with the power, is what gave you the opportunity to basically overthrow him. I think that would be a really cool, story angle, because he didn't understand Ganon's power like Ganon does, you know?
Yeah.
But because he's more crafty and stuff like that, he could have, if he knew how to use it, to overtake Link.
Yeah.
But because he didn't, should have been his downfall. I think that would be a unique story type of angle, but they have never done that.
Yeah.
I don't have too much of an issue with the fact they always write them like that, but it's just one of those things. But let's go ahead and talk about some interesting things about Zelda, that surrounds it. The spin-offs. There isn't... It's actually surprising. there isn't that many. Like, you would think that there would be more because it's made by the same studio inside the same house, inside the same company that make a shit ton of Mario games all the time. That isn't strict Mario platforming. You would think that they're like, what if we made Dr. Link? But no, they have never thought about that until just like more recent time.
Well, I think it also has the same issue as Pokemon, though, because everybody's like, we want more Pokemon. We want other things other than the main
Pokemon
franchise.
still has spin-offs, though.
I know.
Like, it's always had
cares,
spin-offs.
but nobody cares about it.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. That's why the whole Mystery Dungeon is actually, like, apparently one of the top-selling Pokemon franchises that isn't the core franchise, is the Mystery Dungeon ones.
Yeah, but Pokken Tournament kind of proves that, like, we're not going to get a mature one, because I'm pretty sure those Pokken Tournament was kind of like their take on a more serious and mature.
I don't think they'll ever do a like full-on fighting game like that. That's in a core way. Like, you're not going to run down somebody in Route 1 and then you just send out a Rattata and your Metapod's just gonna tackle the crap out of them repeatedly.
That'd be so cool, though.
But because I think that would just be way, way, way too much in order to do anything with. Like, that would be such an undertaking. That would be like years and years and years of development.
With all freaking 900,
and then on all the animations, all the hit detection, all of them doing that.
That would
Like,
be
it
so cool.
it would just not work, especially if you have characters that literally don't do anything.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's just the hard thing. So
But
I think,
anyways, back to Zelda.
but yeah, no, I think the whole spin-offs with Pokemon, they do a bunch of them, but like Zelda
the main
really
series,
has.
The main series, I think, just takes the cake.
Yeah, because that's technically all what people want.
Yeah.
You know,
And then
I actually think
a Epona racing game or a Zelda racing game.
that would be a weird one. Like, I think it would actually work with like more of the Breath of the Wild area and universe and stuff, but I don't think the market would actually like accept it because it's right next to Mario Kart. Like,
Yeah.
why have that when I already have Mario Kart? You know?
just don't take itself seriously. Yeah, it'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I would say don't take itself seriously, but I think a lot of the culture around the market of Zelda is very much a serious tone. Like, they seem to like pish posh on a lot of the ones that are more ridiculous. Hyrule Warriors was popular because it was so different and unique that attracted Zelda players to test it and attracted Muscle players to kind of try it out. It was very unique and actually did very well. But a lot of the Zelda fans, I noticed that they're just kind of wishy-washy on it. But they loved the lore and the seriousness of Age of Calamity. They loved that far more.
Yeah.
Which was interesting for me. Like, just interesting.
Well, I liked it because it's like, you know, your favorite character in the franchise, you get to play them. So
Yeah,
that was really
I
cool.
like that. I really liked. I liked the original Hyrule Warriors a bit more because it didn't take itself seriously. It was kind of like a highlight of a lot of the characters and what they can do, and honestly, it kind of convinced me that like Skull Kid should have been in Smash as a playable character. Like, just because him right there, the way he played in Hyrule Warriors, I'm like, you know what, this could legitimately work. And the same other people would use that same defense for Impa quite often too. And honestly, I could see that happen. Like, the Hyrule Warriors having its own like little sub-series story would have worked.
Yeah.
I don't think it will. I don't think they will. But it was always an interesting one.
Another cool one you brought up too was an RPG. I would like to see it. I'm kind of burnt out on turn-based, but at the same time, it'd be something I would pick up.
I'm tired of turn-based. Here's a turn-based RPG. Here's my money.
All right, Zelda. I'll take it. Stung and Brave, brand new. Great.
No, I actually, I'm kind of wishy-washy on a lot of like the spin-offs. I actually kind of like them in general, like just the whole idea and concept of them. As long as they kind of make sense, you know, like kind of like the card game Gwent that actually became a spin-off after The Witcher 3, for example. You know, otherwise it would not work very well, you know. But it actually existed in Witcher 3, and it ended up becoming its own standalone card game and stuff, and it works, right? And so stuff like that would work in Zelda, right?
Well, if that's the case, then Tingle gets his own game then.
He did.
I know, like a full-on game though.
He did. Yeah.
Shit.
The Fantastic Rupee Land or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It never left outside Japan, and we're region locked from it, bastards.
Damn it.
But yeah, no, he legitimately did, and I think it's hilarious. And
I thought it was something you need to access through Wind Waker. No.
no, it was just on the. I think it was on the just normal DS. I could be wrong on that. It's either 3DS or late DS. But yes, it exists. It legitimately exists that somebody can tangibly get a hold of it. But I would like more lore-based kind of spin-offs. Like it's not like whimsicky like Hyrule Warriors, but nothing very serious like Age of Calamity, where they're attaching more lore to something that exists. I would like to see something that's like an epic. That's kind of like how Zelda, Link, and Ganon always reincarnate. Do something like that, focused on purely that. None of these like other characters come visit. Like there's actually new characters that are unique to that type of spin-off, like Hyrule Warriors, like a Hyrule Warriors true sequel, not just a Age of Calamity. You know what I mean? Like a Hyrule Warriors 2, where it's a different set of different characters you're learning. Like there's a different input, there's different everything, right? I think that would be pretty cool. But as far as what about the future of Zelda as a core franchise?
Custom stages or custom dungeons.
They experimented a little bit with the top-down ones on the remake of Link's Awakening.
Yeah, so I expect something like that. Although it would be insane to see like Breath of the Wild puzzles, because I've seen like some of the most evil shit on Mario Maker. So like,
oh my god,
I would love to see someone do a Breath of the Wild one. Oh my god, like
that'd be insane. I would say the toolkit would be really hard to do for people to like. One of the things that Nintendo does for stuff like that is make it very straightforward.
Yeah,
like of course the people who are more complex hate straightforward stuff, but they still manage to make stuff that's really challenging even with the assets given to them.
Yeah.
So I'm never worried about those people ever.
Yeah.
Like even if they make it very straightforward, they're going to try to find a way to otherwise do it something else. They're just going to. But I would like, and then this is much more for like Breath of the Wild 2 right now, because that's just on the horizon. That's going to be coming. I would like to see more variety in the enemies you face.
Yeah, true.
That was absolutely horrific how few were there. Like, that's one of the things that I found it boring by that point.
Was it just bokoblins and Lizalfos and that's it, right?
Yeah, in various forms of them.
And
yeah,
then the skeleton,
basically, yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
Like it was like I want Octoroks. I want like Deku shrubs. I want stuff that there's a lot of variety that you could have had in many of those biomes. I wanted more of.
Yeah.
Not just sand lizard, space lizard, bone lizard, lizard. Like I don't want that.
Well, I kind of want more complex bosses too.
Yes, that too. I would like.
A lot of them are just kind of like, there's no wrong way to do it. Just hit the shit out of it.
Yeah, I would have. Honestly, there was a couple times where I sat there when I was playing some of the bosses on to clear out the ancient machines and stuff. Why didn't they use the environment that those characters were on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was, you were walking right into those type of mechanics.
Yeah, because I remember there was one boss where I just kind of panicked and I just shot the eye and wailed on it and shot the eye and just wailed on it.
Yep.
Yeah. when I went back to go look on YouTube and it was like, oh, there's this strategy to make the fight look really cool, and yeah, all I did was just shoot the eye and wail on him. Shoot the eye and wail on him.
Yep. Same here.
So.
But yeah, I would actually even like I know Majora's Mask kind of covered this a little bit, but I would like more emphasis on like those weird side quests and stuff. There's never been a game that was like the side quests in Majora's Mask that was just exclusively that. That would be really cool to me. Like more about the adventure, puzzle solving in your dungeons, but no real combat. Everything is just more doing the things and like learning about the characters in that. Like I would love to see that sometime.
Okay.
But I would like to see more of that in Breath of the Wild, like some of those that like really connect to a bunch of like it's an ongoing convoluted side story thing that's entirely optional if you want, and I think it would be really great for people who are really like lore heavy to like give them a reward with those little pieces of nuggets of like lore and be like, ooh, oh like, shit, I need to be doing this more
like building
often.
Statues, right?
Like building statues, having to like or helping an archaeologist look at one of the like ancient statues, like gems or something like that, like all sorts of stuff that kind of like just piece together like, oh wow, you know, like I would love to see that.
Yeah.
You know, that would be really cool, but I'm not sure if it's going to be in Breath of the Wild too. But there's a lot to look forward to with the Zelda franchise. It's obviously not going to go away anytime soon, but I would like to see some of that. And if any of you have some opinions and ideas we did not cover, feel free to post that in the comment below. And we will see you on the other side. Hey everyone, this is Paraka.
And Ghost.
I would like to say thank you for listening to our podcast.
If you like our content, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe and share our video with your friends.
You can also follow and support us on other social media such as Minds and Rumble. Links in the description below.